either from this webinar or from the one on Friday, and we'll happy to get the word out for you. So without further ado, I'm going to let Sue take it away, and we're excited to bring you this material.
Excellent. Thank you, Lisa. And thank you all for coming. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And I'm going to start off with a little bit of an introduction, but then I'm actually going to connect my phone to the screen share and do an actual live demonstration on going live on the different platforms in different locations, so that you can actually see the how-to and some of the little tips and tricks, as we also talk about some of the creative process as well. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here to begin. And I'm going to, get things organized here. Okay. Stop that and oh, that's the wrong one. No wonder. One moment, please. That's the presentation. All these images look the same. And there we go. All right, presentation mode. All right, so as we mentioned, we're here to help you keep doing business and closing transactions using Facebook and Instagram and a lot of the creative tools that are available. Now, I also, while we are muted, feel free, if you would like, to share in the chat box. If you hover on the bottom of your screen, you should see a little chat box. If you don't see chat directly, then look for where it says more, and there's 3 little dots next to that, that you can see chat in that menu. So feel free to drop some questions. You can drop some questions to the group. You can private chat with each other or to me or Lisa. So feel free to drop some questions in there along the way, and then we'll open it up at the end and have some conversation as well if you'd like to stick around for a bit. So today we're going to talk about some of the current trends in social media. And I actually did a presentation on social media trends for 2020 back in January. And what's interesting is a lot of these trends still apply, and actually greatly apply, to the situation we're in right now, because it really is all around messaging, sensitivity, support, education. And that's the space that we're in right now with the situation we find ourselves in. So we'll talk about how to incorporate that into the technology that we're using and the best practices. And that's where we'll get into the tools and trends. So actually applying best practices, what people are responding to in today's world, along with the technologies you can use to reach them from this situation we find ourselves in. And then we want to share some ideas around getting creative. And this is where I'd also love to hear from you in the chat as we talk through some of these things. If there's any ideas that you have done or that you've seen as I talk through some of the opportunities that exist in real estate for getting creative with video, Facebook, Instagram, and more. And then I'll actually dive in and go live on my social media channels while demonstrating exactly how to do this in case some of you have not done it before. So I'd also love to hear in the chat if you'd like to let me know if you have been going live, if you'd like to, but just haven't done it because it can be a little scary sometimes. We're all challenging comfort zones in this new world. And so I'm excited to help people do that. And then Lisa's going to give some tips about staying safe and some of the programs that she has available that can support what you're all doing out there to keep people safe while we are staying social virtually with one another. So that's our little outline. And we're going to start by talking about the current state. So thankfully, real estate is, of course, considered an essential business. People still have to complete transactions, move, look for homes, sell their homes. And there's a difference now with what you are all able to do, depending on if a home is vacant or if a home is lived in, and a lot of other different situations that exist that might prevent you from actually accessing a property. So we have to think about how you can do that creatively and in partnership with those that you're working with. What we're seeing a lot of in media and in statistics is that people are finding that those who are still in the market and still in this process are very selective. They're highly selective around who they're going to work with, because they want to make sure that whoever they are working with is being safe and doing things that are very sensitive to the current situation, as well as the partners that they select to work with, whether that's lenders, realtors, inspectors, whoever else is part of the process, to make sure that everything moves effectively but is also done safely. And at the same time, there's a lot of financial scarcity, both as business owners, from the side of the realtor and everybody, all the other real estate professionals in the process, as well as the buyers and the sellers in the process. So there's a lot of sensitivity around that financial scarcity that has to sort of sit in the background as we think about messaging and promoting and doing business online. Which means, with all of those things together, it is a serious business to do what you're doing today, and people who are doing it are very serious about their business, which is great, because you're all finding ways to keep pushing through and moving along and making things happen for your clients during this time. And people are also seeing that checklists are changing very quickly as people are living at home in close quarters and experiencing life in a very different way. Already there's articles and media coming out saying that people are looking at homeownership from a different perspective already. What's important to them? Space for more people than perhaps they had before. Maybe outdoor space is more important than something inside than it was before because of what they're experiencing. So those are some things to be sensitive to, as well as start to look into and promote in creative ways using social media. So as we can see, embracing technology in today's world will keep you doing business, but it will also help prepare you for the future surge that is coming and times to come as you find yourself being more creative and accessing more things online to keep you connected. So a lot of the things that we all find ourselves using and we're seeing others use are, people are going live on Facebook, doing video on Facebook, staying in touch. People are using Instagram in the same way, and it could depend on the audience that you have or simply which tool you have a greater preference for. So both tools you can go live, both tools you can upload video to show features of homes and neighborhoods. It's just a matter of where your audience is, where you have the biggest community already in touch with you, and what you prefer to use from a content perspective. Zoom, what we're using right now, is a great opportunity. You're probably all using it daily now, whether you were using it before or not. We're all experiencing it on a very consistent basis to keep us in touch. So there's some great ways that you can use Zoom, which you probably are already doing with clients, strategic partners that you have in your business. And there's another tool called BombBomb that I was recently introduced to that I'm hearing a lot of realtors and people in the real estate industry discuss. And that tool is a really cool tool that you can put on your laptop, on your phone, connect it to your email, and actually do video responses. So you're really staying personalized with those clients. So these are some of the things that you can do that if people have not been adopting or adapting to some of the new ways of doing business, that you can really stay on the forefront in personalizing the experience for your clients and doing things to stay connected with them at a very unsteady time. So think about some ways that you can get creative. I know I've seen a lot of creativity out there. I was working with a realtor just as this was getting started, and I was trying to convince her actually to go live, and she was very hesitant. And it was actually just at the time of the shutdown. She had an open house for the weekend that she had initially planned on having, and then literally in one day it was not going to happen. And so we worked together and said, okay, if you still have access to that property, and it was at the very start and no one was there, and she did, go live and have a virtual open house. And so we sat down and we walked through the tools and the how-to, just like we're going to do today. And she was one of the first ones that did that, and actually ended up getting featured in Cranes with some of the early adopters who, that very first weekend that the city shut down, still kept on doing business by going live and showing the homes so that they could still stay in touch with people who were interested. So that's what we want to keep doing. So certainly there are some things that may or may not allow you to do that, like if a homeowner is still in the property. So if it's vacant, that might be a lot easier for you, where you can do a vacant virtual tour using different tools, whether that's a pre-recorded video that you post later or something that you do live and on the spot so you can entertain some Q&A from live viewers along the way. If somebody's still in the home, then perhaps you share this video with them, or you get on Zoom with them and you help to show them how they can go live in their own home, or even perhaps do some interviews with you via Zoom or Instagram so that you can have that conversation and allow those that are still in the home to demonstrate the benefits of buying while you are unable as a realtor to actually go inside and participate with them. There's also a great opportunity in success stories. So for those of you who have been closing deals, and the deeper we get into the situation and you continue to close deals, those are the great success stories that people want to hear about and are actually going to alleviate a lot of the fears that are out there, right? People are perhaps scared about, if I get into a contract, do I know it's going to finish? What are some of the hurdles that I might experience? And how is this actually happening? Those who are not up on real estate and following the media from a very specific perspective may not realize that they're allowing everything to be done virtually, from notaries to inspections to home closings. So showing and sharing these success stories with people who are in the market but hesitant is a great way to let them know that it's still going to be okay and you can still help them finish the process in a way that you're protecting them and safe along the way. So that can be done from you yourself, or it can be done by engaging with those clients as you close and let them know, I really want to bring peace of mind to people who are still not as far along in the process. Would you mind sharing a picture of yourselves or your property or the neighborhood and writing a testimonial about how this process worked? And that will help you to serve others by giving them comfort. Some other ideas are taking a neighborhood walk. You're able to do that. You can take a walk around the neighborhood, show the community, show some of the parks, maybe perhaps without going too deep into them. But you can still do things around the neighborhood, around the community, so that you can showcase the benefits of a neighborhood. And that's what this gentleman here in this slide, him and his daughter, got in the car. He was featured in an NBC News article with the link that's there, just showing some examples of what people are doing. So he took his daughter for a ride. They got out at different locations in the community and showed different spots, schools, parks, other fun, entertaining features of the community that went along then with some of the photos of a property that he couldn't get into. So those are some great ways to keep people eager and educated about neighborhoods. And then there's education with strategic partners. I have another client who, as she did a vacant home tour, she did it on Instagram, and Instagram allows you to bring somebody else in to your live video. And so as she did a home tour, the realtor did the home tour in a vacant home, and she had a mortgage lender on the other side. And they were having some conversations around how the process worked and answering some questions from people who were watching along the way. And that's also something you can do outside of an open house. Perhaps you just go live on Instagram to talk about a topic. Or perhaps you host a weekly interview right here on a tool like Zoom, where you can sit down with someone and go over a lot of the concerns and fears and questions that people have today, and post those videos out on social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, to keep people educated and in touch and knowing that you're there to support them through all of this. So I'd love to hear from you all. If you have any other creative ideas that you'd like to share with each other, or with Lisa and I, that you've experienced that have been successful in this situation. So now what I'm going to do is actually go through the demonstration of going live. So what I am going to do is stop this share here. And then I am going to, also cross my fingers that this works. Sometimes it gives me a little hiccup with this AirPlay, but I do have a cord for backup. So let's see here. And then, and there we go. Okay, so now you should be able to see my phone screen here. And what I'm going to do is actually going to also pull up this little annotation tool to highlight when I'm clicking here on the, use this spotlight. That's what I want to do, that little red dot. So as I'm tapping my phone, I will also tap in here. So what I'm first going to show you is actually on the personal Facebook account, how you can test this. And then I'm going to also show you some of the differences that you might see on your business account. So first, what I'll mention is if you have a Facebook business page, you may already know that the algorithm is tough for business pages. The algorithm in Facebook really presents more to us what we see from our personal friends, our family, and maybe some advertising and media. Business pages it's tough to show up. Now in today's world, it's even more difficult because people are really seeking community. And people are seeking community by communicating more with their friends, joining groups that are surrounding sanity in these times, like fitness and cooking and meditation and DIY. And so what I'm finding and also seeing in social media analyses are that we are creating even greater echo chambers for ourselves around friends and family and the interests that we have that are keeping us occupied and sane right now. And what that means is it's even more difficult for business pages to get visibility in the newsfeed. So with that, what you might want to think about is actually using your personal profile, if you're comfortable with that, to do some of this work in showing videos of homes, talking a bit more about what you're doing in real estate, as well as educating people on the fears and concerns and changing laws around the whole process. So what I'm going to first show you on the personal page, whether or not you want to showcase your business on your personal account, is a great way to test things out. And now I show this to people who are uncomfortable with going live, because the great benefit of starting on your personal account is this. What we can do is do a private test. So what you'll do is you'll click on this live button here, and what you can see up here at the top is it says public. So what I can actually do is change that. And I can come down here and say only me, right? So what that allows me to do, oops, did it not change? There we go. What that allows me to do is test the features, see what I look like, what my surroundings look like, and get used to the features and functions of this before actually going live. And I've really found that in doing this with clients, a lot of people who have been nervous about going live try this and they're like, hey, I don't look that bad. My lighting looks pretty good. This is pretty easy. I think I'll give it a go. So that's the goal. So the next thing I'm going to show you here is at the bottom, I'm just going to get rid of this stuff because these are those like features and filters and things like that, that I'm going to actually tap this little button here and drop that down. Okay, so now what we want to make sure to do is to add a description. So what might that be? If you are showing a property, it could be the specific address and saying, open house, virtual open house at this address. It could be neighborhood walkthrough of Logan Square or, school tour in this zip code. So whatever it is you're doing, you want to be very specific in the description about what that is. Now, if this is in your personality and brand style, feel free to use emojis. That can actually add some good visibility. It gives a pop to the eye when you add some color to it. So if that is your personality and your brand, feel free to use emojis. You can use check marks, which might be a little bit more professional, or you can use something like, hey, great place to have a celebration, whatever that might be. Feel free to try those things out. So we want to complete that description. I'm just going to put test in here. So here you can also tag people. So let's say you have some business partners that you're working with and you are connected to those people on Facebook. So say you want to tag Lisa, you can say, I am with Lisa, showing this property. And so I can tag her and actually put her in there and then say done. And what that does is it will give her an alert. She'll get a notification that says Sue has tagged you in a post and Sue is live, and that will call attention. Now, we don't want to use this in a spammy way, right? We don't want to be like, hey, I have 20 friends that might like this property, right? We want to do it with a specific intention, but it can definitely serve you in getting a little bit more visibility on your video. Okay. So then a few other things here. At the top, you'll see here's where you have your camera that you can turn around. So one thing you can do as well, if you're not comfortable being on camera, you certainly don't have to be, right? So if you're showing a property or a community or a neighborhood, you can just turn that around and you'll see my carpet and my yoga mat. And you can simply walk around the property or the neighborhood just like this, keeping the phone pointed the other direction and having a conversation around what you're highlighting. The other thing maybe you can do is you can showcase something and then you can come back and put the camera back on yourself and have a little conversation about it. So these are the kinds of things that this private test mode allows you to test out, right? You might even do a little walkthrough first, tapping these buttons, seeing kind of the angle you want to use, as well as the lighting. So you can see, you know, it's darker out now. I don't have a lot of sunlight coming in, but that's really going to be driven by the property you're in as well, in the neighborhood. So you can't really worry about that so much, but it might be something you can test out in private mode before you really get rolling. And speaking of light, this little thing here is an option to just add a little bit more light on the subject if you don't have something on the outside that you can control a little bit more. So that's basically it for going live. And then I would basically just start my video. Once I'm ready and I've checked everything out, I'm going to tap on that blue bar and then I will be live. And you'll see this little red button at the top letting you know. And again, I'm in private mode right now, so I'm not going to see anyone coming on because no one knows I'm on. But when they do, what you'll see is you'll see numbers popping up right over here, right? So that's going to let you know if people are watching. Now, something you want to do as best practice while you're doing this is let people know. Hey, Lourdes, thanks. I see you're watching. Hey, give me a wave in the comments. Great to see you here. Now, what that does is, of course, you're acknowledging people. You want to tell them, hey, feel free to drop some questions. If there's anything you're curious about this neighborhood or the school system or the parks or the home, please ask me your questions in the comments. So you're engaging with people, you're letting them know that you want them to participate. But what it also does when people are commenting is it gives that video more visibility, right? Because if Dave is live and Lisa is commenting on it and I'm friends with Lisa, I may see that Lisa is interacting with an interesting video and then I can hop on there too. Even better, you can say, hey, if you know anybody interested in this neighborhood who's in the market, please tag your friends in the comments. And then you can, people can go to the comments and actually tag their friends in there. And that will that will call attention to that video for those people as well. So these little buttons on the bottom now, as you can see, this again is the camera flip and this is the lighting. So this moves. As you notice, when you set it up, it was at the top. Now it's at the bottom. So if you want to do the switch while you're live, you'll just tap that button up at the bottom to turn it back around. And to see comments, you'll tap this button. So I don't see any now because again, I'm in private mode and no one's commenting. But if people were, I can tap on this button to see them and tap on it to go away because it can get maybe a little bit distracting filling up all this space on the bottom. So that's sort of the lay of the land and some tips to get some participation and more visibility as you're doing this. So once you're done, we'll just come down here to the bottom and tap finish. And it's going to end and process the video. Now what we can see, so here we can see the privacy is only me. I can change that. So what you can also do is maybe you go through the whole tour and you say, hey, I like that. I'm going to go ahead and post it publicly. Now, keep in mind, if you do that, you're not going to get the live interaction, right? But that is an option that you can do. So what I'm going to do then too, I'm going to show you here on the bottom is once you're done with it, you can save it to your phone. And why would you do that? So the reason you would do that is because then you can edit the video, maybe put a website on the bottom, put on a little outro, put some contact information, and then you can send it out to other social media channels. So that would be why you would want to save the video. And then when you're done, you'll of course hit share. When you do the real live, is hit the share button and it will stay posted on your profile for people to see who were not there live. And a good practice there too is at the end of the video you can let people know, hey, if you weren't here while I was live, please comment in the comments and let me know that you watched the recording. Again, it keeps people engaged and it helps you to change or to possibly get some more visibility on that video. So I'm going to go ahead and click the delete button since this was just a test. And Anna, so at the very beginning, before we actually went live, was where we can set it. I'll show you again real quick here. When I go into live, this is to do it in test mode. Up here is where I changed it. Now, actually, it's good we're going back here because what I do want to show you is, as you'll notice, is we changed it from public to only me at the very beginning. It stays there. So if you do this little test to practice this process, you do want to make sure to come back here and change it again because your Facebook default will then now be set to only me. So I'm going to tap that little button, put my Facebook settings back to public, and come back. Or this would be the process you would do if you were doing a little test and you said, all right, I'm feeling pretty good about this. I'm going to go live. You would change it to public. So that's how you do that. All right. So that is on the personal account. So we talked a little bit about why you might do it on the personal account. One is to test the process in private. Two is because your personal account does get much more visibility on the Facebook news feed than a business page. Now, if you have a very strong Facebook business page, like Lisa has a very strong Facebook business page. She gets a lot of great visibility because she's consistent. She has a great sense of humor and she's been doing it for a very long time. But if you have a small following, you haven't been using it a lot, you might want to consider doing your live or your video on your personal account, or do it on your business account, but then share it to your personal account to get more visibility after the fact. So what we're going to do now is show you the process on your Facebook page. Now, before we actually do that, what I want to also point out is that not everybody who has a Facebook business page actually has this app to manage it with. So if you have a Facebook business page, I do encourage you to download the Facebook Pages app that has this little orange flag on it, because that's going to help you do things that the regular Facebook app right here does not support. It's also going to prevent you from making any mistakes like posting on your page as your personal account and things like that. It's also going to let you do ads and look at your analytics as well. So download that Pages app to make sure that you're using all of the best available features and functions. So to go live here, we'll go into our Facebook page and I am going to my page. Here it's going to be in a different place. So it looks a little bit different. As you can see, on the personal account, you saw the live button right away. On your business account, you see this publish button. So we're going to go there. And then when you go into publish, there's where you see the live video option on the page. So I'm going to go ahead and tap that. And now you will see it looks pretty much exactly like the other one. However, what we'll notice, again here it says public, but you can tap that all you want. We can't change it, right? So when you go to the business page, it is going to be public. So here's a question. How do you know, from Lisa, when you should start always at your business page and share from there, or do it, oh yes, Anna, yes, I love Julie. Share from there to your personal. How do you know when you are starting to get a stronger fan and business page? So those are some really good questions. What you want to do is, like I said, if you don't have a lot of following on your business page, if your goal is to get a lot of people watching and doing a Q&A while you go live, I would recommend starting with your personal account, because you're going to get a lot more action there than you will on a business page. If you already get a lot of reaction and visibility on your business page, which means you're seeing, communication, you're getting people liking and commenting on all of the posts that you do on a consistent basis, then you can go live on your business page and then share it to your personal account. So it also depends on the goals that you have at the time. But if you want to go live and get a lot of people on there and you don't get a lot of action on your business page, then I would say try it on your personal account first. So same thing here again, you can flip your camera, you can do your lighting, and here you add a description, just like you did, like I mentioned before. You can use some emojis, maybe you have hot property or something like that, if that's in your brand personality. I'm gonna put in here, test for webinar. And I'm doing that because I actually am gonna go ahead and go live on my business page right now so that I can show you all how this works, just like I did on the other piece. So once we get our description in there and you want to be very clear on what you're doing, we can again add emojis. I can check in. So here, perhaps if you're showing a community or a neighborhood or a property, you can even check into the location or the neighborhood. So that's also an option as well. So once I've got that set up, I'm again going to go ahead and tap Start Live Video. And this is actually going to go live on my business page right now. And so just like we showed you before, once you go live, you're going to see again, the camera flip is down here. You've got your little option for lighting and you've got your comment box here. So everything really looks exactly the same. It just works differently as far as the visibility that you get, right? And you can see I'm live on my business page now and not even one person has shown up to say hello yet. But when I go live personally or in a group that I have, I usually have about 8 or 10 people on by now. So that just shows you, the difference in the algorithm. So what I'm going to do, since we've gone through this before as far as the little features at the bottom, I'm going to tap finish. And now what you're going to see is a little bit of a difference once again. So it always the snapshots it gets when I stop this are just so lovely, aren't they? This look of shock I have on my face. So okay, thank you, Anna. Yes, you will get the recording, so you'll get to see more, and feel free to email me with any questions. Thanks for letting us know. So now that we're at the end of this, it looks a little bit different. We want to do the same thing here. Over at the top now is where you save the video to your phone. So saving the video to your phone is going to allow you to do those edits, maybe short clips, clean up the beginning, clean up the end, add branding, website, contact information, all that good stuff, and post it across other social channels. Then what you'll do is you'll say post. And when you say post, your live video will go live on the page that you went live on, and then people can continue to watch it. So once you post that video, if you do it on your page, after it's there, you can then share that video onto your personal account. And so that's how you get a little bit more visibility from it if you choose to go live on the business page first. So once again, because this was a test, I'm going to go ahead and delete this shocking looking picture. And so that's the walkthrough on both your personal account and your business account. Now, just to show you real quickly from another post. So let's say this post down here was my video. What I would simply do, and if I said, hey, don't want to go into the article. If I said, okay, here's my video, I want to post it onto my personal account. What you would do is click this share button, and then you would say write post. But then what you want to do is come up here and change this, because if you just type in here and repost it, it's going to go right back on your page again. So we want to tap at the top, and then I want to change it to my news feed. Okay, so that's going to change it to, actually, this feature here we go. Yeah, this news feed. So you see my picture has changed because now this is my personal account. So then I would say something about the link. I would say, beautiful open house today in Humboldt Park at this address. If you missed it on my business page, take a look, share with anyone who maybe is interested in this neighborhood or looking for a home, whatever you might say, make it interesting, do it in your personality, have a sense of humor if you like, and then you can post it onto your personal account. So that will get you a little bit more visibility, and that's how you do that. But I do like to point out that when you do that, like I said, from your business page, you need to make sure I'll go through it again real quick to change those options at the top of the page so that it goes to your other account, right? Okay, so that is the Facebook, going live on Facebook. Now, I'd love to hear from you in the chat as well, if any of you have done that on Facebook or if you know people who have, but also if there's any users of Instagram. I know there's a lot of realtors that have found great success on Instagram. So I'm going to come here, go on to Instagram. So what you can see here at the top are stories. Now on Instagram, it's a little bit different. So when we went live on Facebook, it goes to a regular post on Facebook. When you go live on Instagram, it actually goes in your stories. So stories are these things at the top of the page that are that ephemeral content. You may have also heard of stories as referred to as that feature that Facebook stole from Snapchat. And that is very true. And when Facebook repurposed that Snapchat feature into Instagram and Facebook, things really took off. So people use them. They do very well. They keep people engaged. And so when you go live on Instagram, it goes live on a story. And the way you do that is by tapping up here in this button. And you can see here's a story I already have live that talking about this, this very webinar. What you will do is I will tap on the I'm going to actually delete this to show you two things. If you already have a story on your page, you want to very cautiously tap your little face there where you have that plus button. That's how you add a new story, okay? If you've never done stories before, it will look different. So since this is already happening, I'm going to go ahead and delete this story I have here so that it looks like what you'll see from a clean slate. So now my story is gone. I'm going to go live. I will click on my little picture up here, and this is what I will see. Then what you want to do is you want to come to the bottom, see where it says normal. This would be where I might put up a picture or take a picture of myself or something else. I'm going to tap my finger on that and slide it over until I see this live button. Okay. Now with Instagram, you'll see this looks pretty different as well. I do not have a description. I don't have a little light thing, but I do have a camera flipper. So I can, you can start on a property or on a community or on yourself. And so basically, once again, I'm just going to go live as a test. Instagram, I do seem to have a little bit more. You can see who is actually on. So what I'll do is I would just tap this button here. It will give me a connection test, and then we're live. So what you can see here now on the bottom is this allows you to do certain things. You can add emojis, you can add in pictures, you can share it. If I tap this little airplane, I could tell my friend Suze, hey, I'm live, come watch me. So you can let people know and alert them to watch you. So the other thing you can do is you can add questions. People ask you questions, you'll see that there. So you can let your audience know. So I can see here now, I've got 4 people. So hi, I am doing a webinar and showing people how to go live via Zoom. So here you can see that, the people that are on. What I can do is then, I can actually invite people to join me. And so what I can do is I can tap these little 2 faces down below. And what I could do is say, hey, Shelly. I could tap here and say, hey, Shelly, join me. Let's do that interview. So if you're planning with a business partner that you have, maybe it's an inspector or an attorney or a lender, what you can do is you can tap on that feature, let them know I'm going to go live at 2 p.m., get on there and follow, and then I'll invite you to join me for the interview. And that's how you would make that happen. And then what's going to happen when you do that is the top half of your screen will be you and the bottom half will be that other person, and you can have a conversation with each other. And so that's a great way to get creative and sharing different things to talk about what's happening in the business. So I'm going to go ahead and end this. Bye, everyone. Thanks for listening to my training session. I'm going to tap end at the top. And what it'll say is, are you sure you want to end? Yes, I will end now. And it tells me I had 6 viewers during that time. So you can see in that quick time, I had more viewers on Instagram than I did on the Facebook page as well. So that's something to consider. Now, here, this little arrow at the top left is how you save that video to your phone. So even though Facebook owns Instagram, they have to put things in different places. On the personal account, it's on the bottom left. On your business account, it's on the top right. On Instagram, it's on the top left. It's no wonder we get so confused by these things, right? So don't fret if you get frustrated or lose where things are. They don't make it very easy on us, now do they? So you'll tap that button to download it on your phone, and then you will tap this button, Share to Story, so that it goes to your story. Now keep in mind, when you do this on Facebook and you share it to your page, that post stays there for as long as you want it to be there. Here on Instagram, when you say share to story, it goes away in 24 hours. Okay, so I'm going to delete that. So it goes away in 24 hours. So the great thing about saving the video on your phone is that you can then upload it as a regular post to Instagram or Instagram TV video. So that allows you to reuse and repurpose that video again back on Instagram so it'll last longer, over on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, sharing it through email newsletters, all these other ways that you can reuse and repurpose that video. Okay, so that is Instagram. So one other thing I wanted to show you quickly is this tool called BombBomb that I mentioned earlier. So what this tool does, it's B-O-M-B, B-O-M-B. It connects to your email account, and what it lets you do is actually, if I, it's connect, I have a bunch of emails. So if I just go to my Gmail, that's my email. If I come down here to the bottom right to create a new one, what I can do is I can say, I'm going to pick somebody to send this email to, and I'm going to pick Lisa, and I can write in my subject and say thank you. And then this little button down here lets me record a video. And that opens up, and I have my little record button there. There's no description here either, just like Instagram. I just tap that button and I say, hi, Lisa. It's been such a pleasure to partner with you on these webinars. I love helping people do business in new creative ways, and I love continuing our partnership together. Have a lovely night, and I'll see you this weekend. And I tap that button and we are done. And then I say next. And then I just simply send her that email. And so that's a great way. You can certainly write text around that as well. That's actually a best practice, is that you want to write some text around that so that someone can either watch the video or they can read the copy in the email. But it's a great way to personalize things. So that's a really fun app. It is a paid service, but you can try it out for 2 weeks first to see if it's something that you would like to use. And I've had fun testing it. I think I'm on day 9, and I may invest in it because it's a pretty cool tool. So there was another question there, which was about inviting people. So do you have to invite friends for Instagram all over again if you have Facebook, or can you copy your Facebook friends over to Instagram? So you cannot just copy people over. So you do kind of start over, air quotes, but it does let you invite your friends, so you can kind of, or follow all your friends. So it's a little bit different. But it's a little bit easier. Instagram does some notices. It'll say Lisa's now on Instagram, follow her. One thing you can do is start with Instagram as a personal account, because then it will alert all your personal friends on Facebook that you're on. Then once you start building a following that way, which is a little bit easier, once you have a good following that way, then you can convert it to a business account. And the benefit of that is that you can then start to do ads and you get analytics. But it's easier to build your following if you're just getting started by connecting it to your personal Facebook account. Once you convert it to a business account, then it'll attach to your business Facebook account. So there's a lot of great strategies around that. So if that's something you're interested in doing, starting fresh on Instagram, It is a great way to reach another network, but it does take a little bit of time to start growing. But in my experience, as well as some clients I've seen, it's definitely easier to grow an Instagram page than a Facebook business page these days. So that is the overview of the going live on Facebook, going live on Instagram, that fun tool called BombBomb. Oh, also another thing that you can do with Zoom on the paid version of Zoom is you can actually live stream from Zoom to Facebook or live stream from Zoom to YouTube as well. So if one of your creative ideas is to perhaps have a series of interviews, maybe each week you interview a different real estate partner, maybe one week you interview Lisa, and another week you interview an inspector, and another week it's a real estate attorney, and another week it's a home stager, an interior decorator. You can do that week to week, and you can stream it to the platform of your choice, or you can package that video up just like I'm doing today on Zoom. I'm recording this presentation, and then I'm going to put it on YouTube, but I'm going to make it unlisted so that the public can't see it, but I can just share it with you all. Now, if you do an interview on Zoom, you probably want that to be public. So you could either live stream it or just record it and then download it or upload it right to YouTube or Facebook or LinkedIn or other channels to have people watch. Any alternatives to Zoom? So there's another tool called Blue Jean. That's another tool that I believe is similar. There is Google. It used to be Google Hangouts. It has a new name now. I can't remember what they're calling themselves now, but that's also another option. Be Live is another tool. It's different from Zoom in that Be Live is more around interviewing. So if you're going to have 2, 3, 4 people that you want to live stream an interview with to Facebook or YouTube, Be Live is great for that. But Be Live doesn't allow the larger audience, I think, like Zoom. So those are a few ideas to look into if you want to look up Zoom alternatives. So with that, some next steps that you all can take from here. List what your priority goals are right now. That may have changed given the nature of our world these days. What are those top goals that you have in, with your clients, with your business partners, the state of the contracts that you have, the properties that you're showing or selling? And how do you work best? This isn't a time to say, well, I think TikTok looks really cool. Maybe I'll give that a go. So go from where you're already strongly planted. If you like Facebook, use it. If you like using your business page and you've got a strong presence there, start there. If you love Instagram and you're already good at it, use that. Right? You can either pre-record videos and post them, or you can go live like we did today. There's a lot of options, but start from what works for you already and start to level up from there. And then if you want to expand into other channels, once you've got it down, then by all means do that. So choose your channel of choice and commit to a schedule. So while things like doing tours of communities or vacant houses may be a little bit difficult to have on a consistent basis based on what we're experiencing right now, what you can commit to is, say, for example, I'm going to do a video or go live once a week with a business partner, or I'm going to go live once a week and share a success story of a closing or a testimonial. Even though people may not always remember, hey, Dave's going to go live on Thursday at 10, they subconsciously do start to recognize that you have a schedule and a consistency. And that's a great way. And also Facebook sees that and Instagram sees that. Social media algorithms actually like consistency and schedule. So the more you do that, the more you also actually up your potential visibility in the news feed. So with all of that, the idea and the goal is that you are able to keep showing, to keep closing, and to keep doing business, and to keep those clients that you have and new clients happy, moving forward, buying their dream homes, and really feeling strongly educated and supported by this whole process while staying safe along the way. So I hope this has been helpful, and I hope this helps to give you some new ideas on ways of doing things. I'm going to go ahead and let Lisa chime in here and talk about some of her opportunities that she has to help people stay and feel safe. Lisa, you should be. Oh, it's not letting me. Can you unmute yourself? Oh, there we go. Are you unmuted now, Lisa?
Yes, yes. Well, thank you, everybody. I am grateful for you, Sue, because I got to see this twice, and I feel much more confident about this, so thank you. And so real quick, and these are just some pointers, but overall, whatever you do, male or female, a lot of us are out and about. Things just to remember are light and sound. I try to tell this to people as much as I can. This is an alarm that you can buy online for dollars. But if you pull it, it's got the legal limit of a decibel limit to really startle somebody, giving you, buying you some time if you ever needed it. And although this is a flashlight, really great for realtors, you can get various ones that have high lumens, but it's really hard on the back. And you could actually, you know, have it as extra protection if you need it. And I put it in my coat pocket. But other than that, some things that are just money tips that I know that buyers always appreciate, especially when they're getting houses, anything that you can help them to save money. So hopefully you're reminding people about when they have an alarm system, they need to call their insurance, their homeowner's insurance, because they do get a discount when they have an alarm on their home. Of course, you know, in the Chicagoland area, we would recommend everybody have an alarm, whether ADT or, you know, a company, because that's an important way to protect their financial investment. And things that people may not know about, but if you can, like, I can't talk about all alarm systems, but with ADT, we do have flood sensors and temperature sensors. So if you have a house that you're helping somebody purchase, and you know there's an area in the house that is really sensitive to cold, like happened to me. I had a pipe burst, caused a lot of damage in my house. I actually had to move out of my house for 3 weeks. It was a hot mess, very depressing situation. But if I had a sensor that my alarm went off, if you know, something got too cold, that would have been good for me to know. Now I have a little heater in that area of my home with those pipes. Other things are if flood sensor, maybe there's an area of the house that there needs to be connected to the alarm system, because if one drop of water gets in a certain area, the alarm goes off. So they don't have to wait till it's 1 foot of water and a lot of damage. Those things would go a lot of way to save a lot of people a lot of money. You may or may not realize this, but ComEd has a great energy saving program. It's free. You call them up, they come to your house one time, and they change all your light bulbs to LED lights for free. They also change your filters for your shower heads and the water that comes out of the faucet for free, so that you use water, but you use less of it. I actually found my bills go down because of that program. So those are cool things that you can tell people. And then when you look at an alarm today, it went from push button in, turn on and off, push button out, and now there's cameras, there's surveillance, doorbell cameras, and now the houses can talk to you. So you can program your house that if you left and forgot to arm it, it will actually contact you and say, hey, did you mean to not arm me when you left? And you can remotely connect to your alarm that way. You can turn lights on and off. Locks can open and close, so there's no porch pirates, things like that. So those are things that increase the value of a home too. So I talk to people quite a bit about home value when it comes to an alarm system. And not every alarm system will give you a free false alarm. So ADT connects with the Chicagoland area that we give you up to 3. And then after that, if it's a false alarm on number 4, well, there is a fee or a ticket that you'll get. And then right now, we will help anybody get an alarm. So everybody can get something, even if it's they qualify for $0 down and 0%, which is really cool. And anybody who has ADT in their home and they refer somebody to get ADT, ADT will send them a $100 Visa gift card. So for me, I'm just happy to serve you guys in any way that I can. I speak Spanish for those that it's helpful for you. And I do a lot of collaborative events. So I was doing free self-defense courses to the public, and everybody was volunteering, the instructors, the location, all of that good stuff. The aldermen, we would contact the Chamber of Commerce in that neighborhood. So when we can socialize again, I will be doing those, and hopefully you'll come out so you can learn how to, when you should run and when you should stay and throw a jab. And it's great for teenagers. But I started doing them online with realtor offices because I had some scheduled, and instead of canceling, we did it online. So if that's something that you want to organize for your office, I just have to ask the people involved if they'll volunteer their time. And so far, nobody said no, which is great. And so if there's anything I can do for you, let me know. If anybody has a referral that turns into a client, I do give a thank you of $100 as well. And I am formalizing individual sheets that are very personal between you and me. And on the back, I'm gonna send this to you. Actually, I created this. This is a sheet with all the things that I've learned from the police department, the fire department, that homeowners really should know. And whether you want to share it with them or not, or pick and choose what tips work for you when you're doing a closing. But there's some really, really important things here that I wish I knew just in high school, right? These are things that I'm surprised that we don't know earlier on. So I hope that this has helped everybody. I personally, I don't know, Sue, how you want to do it. Does anybody want to put in the chat and ask?
Yeah, I was just going to add something since I got a lot of good information. I would like to give some. I do actually marketing for real estate, and something that I've suggested to clients in the past, and I will pass along to you because this is even, unfortunately, better timing. But it's things like when there's a new, for example, a new Mariano's or a new grocery store going up in the Chicago area, that is still major information. So if you're an agent working in that neighborhood, whether you have listings or not, as I put it, kind of take ownership of that project. And I suggest driving by the lot maybe every few days, post a picture. Hey, ground has broken. Look how this is being built. There's going to be a Mariano's within walking distance of whatever the intersection is. And this way, people, they know you're out driving the neighborhood, you're a good resource, you're keeping track, and you're showing people in the area that, hey, you're going to have a more valuable property because people could actually walk to a grocery store that is not as common as it should be in the area. Or some type of either a construction project, or maybe something going on where they're putting in something new at a park, or just something in the neighborhood, and kind of be taking pictures and posting about, come to me, I'll show you what's going on in the neighborhood. And that can be valuable just for content, things to post for social media, especially photos for Instagram. So kind of wanted to pass that along in the spirit of what we're talking about.
Yes, very smart.
That's
Thank
awesome.
you.
That is very smart.
Yeah.
And also, Sue, can you, before, I didn't mean to cut anybody off, but you're going to send this as a copy to everybody in links and separate too, so you can compartmentalize what you want to review also.
Yeah.
But yes, anybody else need something or want to share something? This is great.